Hi there, this is my 2-minute debrief of my project for our literacy training essentials course. So let me tell you a little bit about my audience first. I don't really have what I would call naysayers at my school. We're really lucky. I'm a small private school, about 1,000 students, so I guess not super small, but our faculty, we've been working with generative AI now for a few years. We have Flint K-12 at our school. And so we've really taken a very intentional, very scaffolded approach to use of AI in our classes with our students. And so I don't think that I have anybody still who is a total naysayer. But I do have those that are hesitant to dip their toe in the water and are maybe heading in a very anti-technology direction, and that's not where, and that's okay. I tend to be pretty simple in my technology in my classroom. I am both a U.S. history teacher and instructional technologist, and in my U.S. history classroom, don't need to see myself twice, I can tend to not be anti-tech, but very intentional tech. And so that's, I guess, the audience that I'm gearing this toward. So my presentation really has two goals. The first goal is what is generative AI? And I think that AI for education really taught me how important it is to make sure you have that common understanding. And then once you have that common understanding, then the second goal is to go into, okay, well, I understand what it is, and I understand why I might use it, and I understand why it's important to use it really effectively and really ethically and intentionally. Then how do I use it? And so that's why the prompting 101, sort of how do I communicate effectively with the generative AI tool of my choice? So the welcome and what is our why, my interactive piece here, really I tried to do a myth fact, which I think is really fun. It gets people up, it gets people moving. I use this in history classes sometimes as well. And I think this, the feedback I got on the presentation is this can be a massive can of worms. I think especially now that AI is simply there. If I do a Google search, it's there. And so, but I still think that that really at least gets the conversation going. So I do want to leave that as is. I got to be careful. This is only 2 minutes. So I've got a few myth versus fact. This is actually from one of our modules that we did in this professional development training. This was the results that I got when I compared ChatGPT to Flint, which is our tool. And so I thought I would share with them my experience and my results. Establishing a comfort level, that awareness that AI is already doing things in our world, whether we want that to or not. I love this quote from Sohan, who is the founder of Flint. And so I'm going to use it. And then it's like, okay, but seriously, what is it? And then this is that piece from AI for Education. I have the clickable one in here somewhere. There it is. That I'd pull that up in a different tab, really intentionally defining generative AI, and then I love doing table talks. I do them all the time in U.S. history, having a table talk. And then going into prompting 101, why prompting matters, what it does well, what it doesn't do well. Again, another quote from Sohan I think is great. And then going into a prompting framework and wrapping it up with some demonstration. Novice prompt versus more advanced prompt. I took a slide from AI for Education and just sort of designed it to fit into my own here. Some intentional practice with me floating around the room as more of a facilitator than a teacher. A very intentional format, some samples, and then wrapping up. And I do have an actionable item to wrap up. Try and use AI once a week, have a little elbow partner conversation, discuss what is something I might do with it this week, and then having an opportunity for them to talk. I'm way over my 2 minutes. I'm going to wrap up here. Here is my teacher outline, trainer outline, and here is a takeaway piece that I have I will print, but also share with them electronically. All right, that's it. That's my debrief on my session. Thanks for listening.